Hey guys, thanks for joining us again on the YouTube video. Alyssa and I were just talking about how there's no magic bullet for Alzheimer's disease in 2018, or at least as of September 14th, 2018. We were talking about the fact that there's no magic bullet. However, there are some treatments that we use to manage symptoms. And quite frankly, none of them are super awesome. Just throwing that out there. But we do have some things that we can use. So I think it's important to kind of highlight what Alzheimer's disease may look like sort of at the beginning. And then as things start to progress and you may get to that point where you're looking into needing assisted living, or like Sandra's mom in one of the previous videos where she ended up going assisted living and then very quickly to memory care. So kind of what those transitions may look like, because I know that those transitions are it can be really tough decision points for loved ones. It's like, is it time? Is it time? And if my loved one, if I send them to assisted living.
Or the term that's used, if I put them.
Oh yeah.
That's more of a gut guilt thing. I'm putting them away.
Like you're taking your dog to the kennel or the pound or something.
That's
like
a whole factor of the disease that we deal with once the disease has progressed to a point where the family can no longer really cope with it at home anymore.
Do you feel like there's just a black and white point with everybody and you just got to identify that, or do you feel like everybody's different?
Definitely everyone is different. I mean, I have been doing this for years. Actually, I've been in senior living for 25 years, which certainly makes me a relic. But in the last 5 years in particular, my focus has been in assisted living and very deeply involved with dementia, various types, of course, but every day, all day, I have families coming to me, and no two families are the same. And it's not just the families, it's the dynamics of, and that we could just go on and make a book about that. But the bottom line is that this particular disease process, which I don't know clinically, but I do know how it affects people's lives. And it is always got different twists and turns for each family. Not every family comes to me initially in crisis. Some don't come to us until they're in a crisis. For example, there's been what I call a life event. For instance, might be that their loved one suddenly started night walking. They'd be awake at night and without their loved one, who was sound asleep, knowing it, that loved one went and turned on the stove and accidentally started a fire. That's what I call a life event, where it's like, whoa, this has really escalated quickly, and now we are truly scared. So there's a lot of different, but no two are the same. Usually there is something, though, that has happened, whether huge or not huge, that has got the family going, we need to explore our options.
Yeah, and do you find that there's usually maybe a life event and that sort of gets the thought churning, but then there's still sort of that pushback of, well, are we giving up on them if we send them to some
place? Yes. The number one issue that I encounter when I have a family coming to me, it might be just a spouse, it may be a family of 5. I may have, it's any number of scenarios, but the number one issue that they're dealing with is guilt. It's extraordinarily painful to imagine, first of all, that you're losing a loved one from the standpoint of the person you've always known your whole life. Now they're not the same person anymore. That in and of itself is too much to bear. And then just to admit I can't take care of them anymore is another overwhelming thing. And it's almost like being in a tsunami to some degree of emotions. So most of my clients I meet with multiple times, in some cases over a period of months.